That camera is amazing. I would definitely.
We took it to the rain.
We took it in the rain when we got taken by the cops.
Yeah, talk about that story real quick. Yeah, we haven't said that.
Yeah,
talked about that story
we haven't
yet.
talked about that story. Okay. What is good, guys? It's your boy Corey.
It's your boy John.
And welcome back to the Artistry Job, where we feature stories from today's rising artists.
Yes, sir.
If you like being inspired, don't miss out on our weekly episodes. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be notified when we drop new episodes. Damn, I'm losing my voice already.
Damn.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
No, but guys, yeah, it's just me and Nipple Boy again today. We love,
Let's go.
at least having this chance and opportunity to, ride solo without guests sometimes.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's more personable.
Yeah, and I feel like, we're able to joke around a little bit more because we already know,
exactly.
each other's jokes.
Because when we have a guest, it's like so serious. We're based on them.
we still have jokes
Of
and
course,
stuff,
yeah.
but it's like we know our sense of humor. We know what we can say, and it's like that's why I feel like it's a lot more funnier when it's just me and you.
Yeah,
and
because it's a lot more filtered when somebody's here.
Facts, yeah. So guys, we like we said, we hope you enjoyed these episodes of just me and Nipple Boy. For today's episode, we want to talk a little bit more about camera equipment, Steadicam, gimbals, and our dream cameras and stuff like that. So before we get into that, of course we got to get into the drink of the day.
Okay, the drink of the day. We got these fancy tiki cups because this is a tiki drink. This is the famous Mai Tai.
So it is a Mai Tai.
It is a Mai Tai. We've had Mai Tai before, but I was missing an ingredient. Actually, two ingredients. And that ingredient is orgeat. Okay. Orgeat is a almond. It's like an almond syrup, but it's made mostly. It's like Mai Tai is one of the few drinks that has it, and then also a lot of like Japanese cocktails have it too. This is really like the only like semi-American one.
Cocktail connoisseur over
here. Yeah, doing the research and I'm loving it. It's fun to make and fun to see how like a lot of people have their own twist to it.
Yeah.
So this has Jamaican rum, lime juice, orange curacao, simple syrup, and then that orgeat syrup. And then I put a little twist in it because the Jamaican rum, this is our first time having Jamaican rum, so it's really strong.
It smelled fucking powerful. I just remember sitting here at the table and I'm like, bro, like I can smell that shit. It's fucking powerful.
Right. It's like whiskey, but the smell is powerful. So I don't know if it's going to be really strong, like stronger than whiskey. It smells like it. It's really potent. So, we got 2 shots in here, so hopefully it doesn't fuck us up too much.
Well, also, we already did take some shots previously.
That too.
And I got my liquid IV right here, guys.
You go.
So,
I got my water too.
Yeah, so, hopefully we don't get like too fucked up, but hey, we're gonna have a lot of fun on this episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Let's
so
give
cheers.
it a try. Cheers.
Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. Oh damn, that shit is powerful.
It's strong, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit is powerful.
One thing I did add that they don't normally add is orange juice.
Okay.
Because after I added all those ingredients, like orange curacao has a little bit of alcohol in it too. So the rum and the curacao, that's a lot of alcohol in there. I didn't take that into account. Like it was 2 shots of the rum, but it was a little bit more of the curacao too. Probably like 1 shot, so it was like 3 shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still kind of powerful.
It's
powerful. It is good. I feel like this is definitely something you can get at like a bar.
Yeah.
But it is really good. So major
there
props. So guys, let's go ahead and dive in. The week the day we're actually releasing this video, my birthday had just passed.
Yes, sir.
July 24th. I'm 35 today, guys.
God damn.
So hey, if you want, you better let those old jokes out right now if you want to.
No, I'll let them out little by little throughout the episode.
So yeah, guys, awesome. Being 35, I feel like we've accomplished so much over the last year. I think. On my last birthday when I turned 34, we had already been talking about the podcast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And we finally started it in October. And guys, now we're here. Like we're about almost a year in with the podcast. Everything's been going amazing.
Yeah.
Been loving doing this shit. Like
getting a lot of traction. We're now booked until like mid-October, so yeah, it's going crazy. I mean, by the time we release this, we'll probably be already booked for October. So
most likely we're gonna be for sure booked by the end of this year.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I love the fact people are loving the show.
Right.
People actually, you know, contact us all the time to want to come on.
Yeah.
We barely have to contact anybody, which is amazing. But of course, you know, we have so many dope guests we want to have on the show. So you know, I gotta reach out to them and try to get them on the show. But you know, big thank you to you guys as well.
Yes,
I know you got a little something to say as well.
Yeah, you know, I also, you know, speaking about October, I want to talk a little bit about the special that we're gonna have.
Oh yes,
like we're gonna have like a whole Halloween vibe. You know, it's gonna be super aesthetic. The vibes are gonna change. It's gonna be a little spooky. So if you're watching this now, that's something definitely to look forward to. We're gonna talk about a lot of scary stories, paranormal things. So
and we got some dope guests coming on again this year, guys.
Big guests too.
Yes, big guests. So you know, definitely stick around. Watch the Halloween episodes, and you know, I know you want to talk about the YouTube channel a little bit too.
Yeah, because the YouTube channel is booming. We're officially over 100 subs. I think we're like at 120 right
Let's
now.
Go. Yeah,
or something like
almost,
that.
Yeah, I just checked earlier. We're at about 118. But you know, the last time when we surpassed 100 was literally maybe two weeks ago. 3.
Yeah.
And you know, like, of course, you know, we haven't been on a fast pace of growing, but we're at a very steady pace. I feel like, you know, we're growing at a good rate, and the more traction that we're getting, we're gonna keep growing. And you know, big shout out to YouTube Shorts, because that's where you know, a lot of our traction is coming from. But yeah, guys, you know, whoever subscribed, whoever has been watching our videos, we definitely appreciate you, and we're excited to give you guys more content. And we do got some, you know, other ideas revolving around our YouTube channel that you know, we hope you guys will enjoy. We're gonna start working on those very soon, but you know, it's gonna be a little bit different. But guys, we will still be putting out these inspirational podcasts, these fun podcasts and stuff like that. So definitely stick around, guys.
And subs if you haven't already.
Hit that sub button, guys, please. You know, we're definitely going to be pumping out a lot of content. We already do. I mean, we're already releasing content pretty much every week.
Exactly.
But no, we want to get on to the point where, you know, we're dropping, you know, newer content like outside of podcasts, but we're not going to talk about that yet. You know,
it's still in secret right now.
Yeah, it's still a secret because we're still planning how we're going to go about it and all that. But we're excited to bring you guys.
I think just the gist of it is like we're always trying to level up, and there's different ways to approach like this marketing scheme, and we're just so happy that even without like an ideal marketing strategy that we've had, you know, we've had a lot of people just fuck with us because they like us, you know. So it's just all organic, and we just love everyone who's been there from the beginning.
Yeah, so, we love all you guys. Thank you for all the support that you've been doing. But guys, you know, we're gonna dive into this episode. So what we want to talk about first is like, you know, camera equipment, and you know, how, like, what cameras we actually started off with. You know, like for me, I don't know what, well, I know for sure I started off like way before John, because I started getting into cameras around like 2008, you know, and
he was also born a long time before me.
I was, you know, that is facts. But yeah, so guys, like, I want to get into like some of the first pieces of equipment I had gotten. And then, you know, we'll let John get into his stuff. But of course, you know, one of the most important things when you have a camera is you need a tripod. Because, I mean, well, that's what you think at first, right? Like, it's not, you don't necessarily need a tripod, especially a lot of vloggers nowadays. You know, they have the little handle, and, you know, if you're going to film yourself eating or whatever, obviously, you know, you got to buy one of those little handheld tripods and stuff. But, you know, for me, I started off filming a lot on my own. You know, like a lot of, like, I talked about 206 CCB on the channel before. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but you know, it was like just a little gist, you know, of it. But yeah, it was like me and, you know, 2 other buddies of mine. We started a YouTube channel, and you know, we had just got out of high school and stuff, and you know, obviously no money. You know, we were fucking broke during that time. We're living off our parents and shit.
But you guys had some good ideas.
Yeah, no, you know, it was a lot of, honestly, a majority of the ideas did come from like Ben. You know, because he's more creative and shit like.
And they were funny.
They were funny, they were funny. But you know, that's our sense of humor. You know, like only people like us would understand that. Like random people out there would be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know, and it's understandable. You know, it was fucking random, and you know, it was weird. weird, but it was funny to us. So, you know, we were trying to put out content we thought was funny for us, you know.
Facts.
And so, yeah, you know, the route that we went, of course, it's like we all had jobs, but it wasn't jobs that were paying us a lot or anything. It was very, you know, minimum
wage.
Yeah, so, you know, we were trying to look for cheaper cameras. One of the cameras that were out during that time was a flip camera. Super. I think I've showed it to you guys before. If you haven't seen it, here's a picture of it again. But yes, you know, super basic. They were popular during 2006, 2007 and up, and they were super portable. A lot of people that are, you know, like this generation, you probably won't know it. you know, like you. I don't know.
Same.
Like so like the flip cameras were. I feel like it was one of those.
I remember the flip cameras. Yeah,
I feel like it was one of those starter vlog cameras. You know, it was one of the first cameras out there.
But by the time I got one, it was like already 1080p.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. No, they actually. So I think Flip at one point they did create a camera at 1080p, but majority was at like 480 or 720.
That was around the same era as the Zune.
Yes, almost, I had a Zune as well.
Yes. Zune is so throwback.
Yeah. If you had a Zune, like, you know that. I had a lot of issues with Zune though.
Oh, like that's why they didn't stick around.
Yeah, they didn't stick around. Yeah, and you know, obviously it wasn't an Android; it was Microsoft.
Right.
You know, so I had a lot of issues with it, and you know, I had to get rid of that shit. But yeah, it looks almost like a Zune. It does, like that square look and stuff. But like, yeah, so you know, going back into it, like. That was probably one of the first cameras. We all split like $20. We went to a pawn shop, found it, and you know that's how we started creating videos. And it was a start. You know, I had no idea about cameras or quality at that time. It was like we just need something to film our fucking stupid videos.
Right.
You know, so we found the flip camera, went ahead and bought it, started creating YouTube videos and all that. And you know, we did it for a while, but it got to the point we all got busy. But for me, it was like I still want to pursue this shit, even though like I had a full-time job and all that.
Right.
So that's where I started, you know, trying to acknowledge more about videography and filmmaking, and that's where I was trying to learn more about cameras. So one of the first cameras I actually bought was a Pentax KX.
Okay.
It's a super older camera. I think it came out around like, I want to say 2010-ish maybe, but it was one of those cameras that only had 720p.
Okay.
You know, it was a DSLR camera, 720p video, and it worked great for what I was trying to do.
Okay.
You know, I was trying to more create like little skits or videos of myself, and this is why it goes back to tripod. You know, like since I was doing all this shit myself, I had nobody holding the camera. It was literally just me. So you know, I would film myself, act in my own videos, and you know, the Pentax KX did great. But then I heard about the Canon T2i, and the Canon T2i had just recently just came out after I bought that Pentax.
It changed the game.
It did. It's a game changer for a lot of people. Like if you grew up with the Pentax, or if you grew up with the Canon T2i, you guys will know that was one of the first cameras that had come out with 1080p.
Yeah.
You know, it was
that was good doing both stills and video.
Yeah. And it was a great camera. I mean, of course, you can't compare that shit to today's cameras, but back then it was a game changer. And you know, I love that camera. The drink's hitting me already.
He said,
the drink's hitting already. Damn. So no, that camera was amazing. I ended up buying a used one like 3-4 years ago, just to see, you know, how I could play around with it. I was using it more for like YouTube content, like buying a Canon T2i at this time, or you know, comparing it to see what are their, and you know, I got it at a good price. I think I got it for like 150 or 200 bucks.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Came good. It was pristine. I was like, damn, this shit is good condition for the price, you know. So yeah, I ended up still selling it because, you know, it was just gonna sit around and wasn't gonna get use of it. So yeah, Canon T2i, amazing camera. But of course, the next camera comes out, which would be so there is like Canon T3Is and all this shit, but the next step up was a Canon 6D. So the 6D was an amazing camera, and when the 6D came out, I think that's when me and you had just met as well. You know, I just bought the 6D. And, you know, I would tell John, I was like, hey, let's go shoot some test footage of this because I want to see how it looks, you know. And I bought, like, I still had no idea on cameras, how they work. You know, I just kind of figured it out on my own. And I had no idea about lenses either, you know. Like, I ordered, I want to say $100-$200 lens from eBay to fit the Canon 6D. And, you know, I got amazing camera footage out of the 6D. The 6D is still an amazing camera.
Did it shoot 1080 or?
It did. It shot 1080. That's all it did.
Okay.
But and then, of course, you know, I kept the 6D for a while, you know, and we were shooting with even Robin's video.
Oh, yeah.
So I had the 6D throughout film school with Art Institute and stuff like that. So kept the 6D for a while, but and then of course I heard about the Panasonic GH4. That shit changed the game.
Too. Yeah, game changer for sure.
Game changer. Like that shit changed like the game for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of filmmakers were using that.
A lot of filmmakers started using it. As soon as I heard about it coming out, I was like, I gotta get this camera. You know, so I sold 6D, all the accessories I bought because the GH4 was fucking expensive.
Yeah,
you know, if I remember when it came out, it was like $800 or $900.
Yeah,
and that was just with the body. If I remember, I had to buy the lens.
Well, we started shooting a lot more.
We did. Once I got the GH4. We were shooting so much dope content. And why, guys, it's a game changer. If you're not familiar with the GH4, it's one of the first mirrorless cameras that was able to shoot 4K. And this is why it's a game changer. The only issue with shooting in 4K is, you know, it's a crop sensor. So it would zoom in hella no matter what. So sometimes it would just be better to shoot at like 1080 or whatever, you know. But the GH4 was a game changer. Like I saw my footage in a different light, like everything looked more cinematic, and I just enjoyed shooting it. And me and John shot a lot of content. We shot hella vlogs on it. We shot so many dance videos on it, and that camera is amazing. I would definitely.
We took it to the rain.
We took it in the rain when we got, you know, taken by the cops.
Talk about that story real quick. Yeah, we haven't said that.
Yeah,
talked about that story
we haven't talked about that story. Okay, guys. So. That's a fucking crazy ass story. I was scared. You know, I was scared.
We both were.
Yeah, we were both terrified on what was gonna happen. Okay, so yeah, guys, me and John, you know, we had a plan to shoot for a dance video, and this is back home in Seattle. This is in, you know, where he lived in Renton area and stuff like that. And
it was Chris Brown's Crisscross.
Crisscross. Crisscross challenge. We were shooting that, and so. We found, you know, I only reason I know about this location is because I've shot when I was in the car, you know, with all the crews and stuff. They took me to that area. I was like, okay, this shit's pretty fire. So and then when we came up with the idea of shooting the video, I was like, hey, there's like fucking trains at this place. Let's go shoot in there. So, you know, we go there and it's raining. GH4 handled perfectly well, and you know, it shot in the rain and everything. So, you know, we ended up taking photos after and stuff like that of each other. And so once we wrap, we start walking towards the car.
Before that, like I was like holding on to the trains and stuff like that for photos. And then for the video, I actually was the door of the train.
Inside the train and you hopped out.
That was open. And I hopped out, you know, of the train to make it look cool for the video and stuff like that. And then we didn't know that somebody like reported us the whole time. They were watching us the whole time. And then
so somebody was watching us. We were on private property, so that is our fault. But, you know, obviously, you know, as a filmmaker, or, you know, you kind of break the rules. You know, you end up trying shit and hope you don't get caught. But, guys, we got caught on this one. It was fucking scary. So, yeah, we head back towards our car, and cops started pulling up, and we're like, fuck. Like, I was like, just keep walking, you know. And we're packing up the car with all the equipment, and cops get out, and you know, they're like, hey, like what were you guys doing? I was like, you know, just, and these cops are like these are younger cops. I want to say at that time they were probably the same age as me or whatever, you know. And so, you know, we're like, we're just shooting some photos and some videos and stuff like that, and they were like, we got a complaint and stuff like that. So we're like, oh fuck, well, yeah, we had no idea, you know, we just came here to shoot some content and stuff. And I was like, if you want to see the photos and stuff here, I can show you, like, we didn't do anything illegal. And he was like, all right, let me see. So I showed him, and they were like, hey, these actually look pretty cool, you know. These are pretty good. And I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, like
they're cool.
These cops are kind of cool, you know, and stuff like that. And so, you know, obviously they had to do their job. They, you know, they asked for our licenses. They put us in the system. And yeah, we're in the system still, probably up to this day. Because what they did say is, you know, as much as you got, as much as the work you guys have is really cool and all that, like, you can't be doing this anymore. If, you get caught here again, we're going to have to arrest you.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck. Like, okay, I'm glad you guys didn't do that today. You gave us a chance, So these cops are really cool. I know they're just doing their jobs and, stuff like that. It is our fault. We, we're
on the trains.
We're on the trains. We're on private property.
Yeah.
It's, it's not public. So
we never went back again.
Yeah, we never went back after that. And this was probably like 2016, 2017. It was years ago, but yeah, that's a fucking crazy ass story.
Yeah, it
was. We've talked about it quite a bit. We'll reflect back on it. Like, do you remember that time and shit like that? And it's still fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, I guess that does teach you, like, after something big like that, it does teach you, you got to be more aware of your surroundings. And even for us, like, even being here in LA, you would think you're able to shoot everywhere because
it's more normalized.
It's more normalized here. Yeah. Everybody's shooting content here, right? Mm-hmm. No, guys. We've already had a lot of encounters with cops here, or security saying we can't shoot in here, etc. So it's everywhere. It's not just in Seattle or whatever. It's everywhere, even here in LA. So don't come to LA thinking that you're going to be able to just shoot anytime you want or anywhere you want, because if there's a security or cop roaming around, they're gonna get you. And for sure, your shoot's done. You're done. So yeah, so that was a good story right there. So guys, the GH4 is an amazing camera. Great cinematic features and stuff like that. Groundbreaking for filmmaking and videography in general.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that's like what started your filmmaking?
I would say that, because, I even utilized the GH4 for photos and stuff. We shot a lot of photography. That's what, that's the first camera I started using to shoot portraits, and that's why I got involved with portraits and stuff. But yeah, I would say for me, the GH4 was definitely groundbreaking. Now, the Sony A6300. So this was a camera I didn't originally even think about. This is actually all John, when we were talking, or when I was trying to convince him into starting to take up videography and photography and stuff like that. He was looking around for cameras. The A6300 didn't even pass my radar. I wasn't even thinking about it because I was so content with the GH4. But, finding out about the A6300, it shoots 4K, and looking at some of the footage, I was like...
Small body.
Yeah, smaller body and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, that shit actually looks really clean. And, the image definitely looked a little bit more sharper, I think, than the GH4. And also the fact that... it's not a crop sensor like a Micro Four Thirds GH4. 4K. Yeah, and stuff like that for 4K. So I was like, you know what? Since I'm shooting more video content, I need this camera. John pretty much, convinced me to grab that camera and stuff like that. And I want to go back on lenses because I haven't really talked about lenses. So Sigma, guys, we talked about Sigma. Amazing lenses. We love Sigma. That's all I can honestly see myself utilizing, up until this time. Of course, there are the lenses I would love working with, Leicas and, all those. And
Zeiss.
Zeiss lens, like, that's pristine glass. Like, but guys, that's fucking expensive glass, So, but...
So Sigma is that, like, middle ground.
Yes, and guys, like, Sigma is an amazing company, amazing glass, and especially for people that are on budget, But, yeah, so, when I had just got the GH4, there's, the Sigma 18 to 35 had just come out as well. So I was like, damn, this shit is fucking amazing. Like, I think I gotta save up and get this. So, and, people were matching it up with the GH4. And I was like, this shit looks fucking amazing. So, I finally got the Sigma 18 to 35, I think 2015, 2016, when I had the GH4. And guys, I've never seen myself going back on any other lens. We are still using the 18 to 35 almost 8 years later, and this is the only lens I ever used for filmmaking, for photography. I love this lens so much. Obviously, I would love to own, the Sigma 35,
other Sigmas.
Yeah, or there's Sigma 50s, all those are the lenses. But
Cine lenses, too.
Cine lenses. The Cine lenses are amazing. But I just love the 18 to 35 because the versatility of it. You can zoom in and go up to, 55 if you want,
Right.
or no, sorry, 35.
The drink is getting to, you can't do the math.
35, guys. I fucked up there. I should know this.
I was like, 55? You fucking cropping that shit.
18 to 35, guys. So
he's not a real filmmaker or photographer.
I'm deleting that.
He's fake.
I'm just like, no, guys. Yeah, that's the drink messing with me right now. But no, 18 to 35, like, it's an amazing lens. It's just the glass is so amazing. The versatility is crazy, and it's also a constant lens. You know, so the aperture doesn't close as you zoom in. So you can keep that aperture open all the way at 35 at 1.8.
Yeah.
Or, you know, keep it open at, 1.8 at 18. And it's fucking amazing. I just can't see myself using a different zoom lens. Yeah. It's just the glass is so crisp and everything like that. And yeah, so, I carried that on to this A6300. And that's when, John, when he was getting into his A6300, he was trying to think of a lens to pair, and it was like, bro, like 18 to 35, you already fucking know.
That's the one.
That's the one for you. So, obviously we became twins, only 18 to 35. Never looked back. Unless it's another Sigma.
Right.
Unless it's another Sigma. But yeah, we're still filming on the A6300, guys. Like,
the build quality is crazy.
The build quality is crazy. It's still going almost 8 years later, and these are amazing cameras. So I would definitely say, anybody, and I think they're cheaper now too.
Oh yeah. Because there's newer lenses. Yeah,
there's newer lenses, newer cameras out there that's taking over the Sony lines. So guys, I would definitely invest and look into maybe an A6300 because they're amazing cameras up to today. Right. If you like the quality that's looking on our video right now, this is an A6300 shot in 4K. So do what you need to, go cop one. It's probably cheaper right now.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm gonna get into like cinema cameras, guys. So I've been fortunate enough to own 2, and I only own 1 now. So the first one I got was from film school, LA Film School. It's the Sony FS5, and they actually supply you cinema cameras. Of course, it comes out of tuition. You still got to pay that shit back, and that shit is like during that time that shit came out, it was like $6,000, $7,000. So I'm still paying for that shit. I'm still paying for that shit no matter what.
Granted, you went to 2 different film schools.
Yeah, and I went to 2 different film schools. But that's the amazing thing with LA Film is they provide you what you need versus like Seattle Arts Institute. They didn't give you shit. They actually told us we were going to get Canon 70s. I've told you this. Yeah. They said you're going to get a Canon 70. We get there and they said they're no longer doing that, and we're like, God damn it! Like I was so excited to get a new camera too, and stuff. But yeah, so LA Film School, it's amazing. Now LA Film School is giving Blackmagic cameras, which is crazy, and they're giving.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I know, right? And I actually think they are giving Sigmas with it as well. No. I forget, but yeah. So now that's what I currently own is a Blackmagic Cinema Pocket 4K. I didn't get that from film school. I bought that shit on my own. I actually ended up selling the FS5 for a Blackmagic just because, guys, like they're 2 different cameras. Like the ergonomics on the FS5 is amazing. It really looks like a cinema camera, a film camera. The buttons, the placement, everything was amazing. And like I said, I'm not knocking the FS5. It was an amazing camera.
But it had its limitations.
It had its limitations, and I would say the limitations was the sharpness of footage. When you shoot in, and this is the other thing with the FS5 is you have multiple slow motion modes. So you could shoot in
slow motion was clean.
Slow motion was clean, but that's the difference is the sharpness just wasn't as crisp, So you can shoot in like 120 frames per second, 240 frames a second, 480 frames a second, and go all the way up to 960. I believe, but
that's hella slow.
Yeah, but the higher you go up, the quality degrades.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So I usually only stayed around 120, and we use that for a lot of the music videos with like Rahel.
That's slow enough.
Yeah, and that's slow enough. That's all you really need. Yeah. But that's when like the Blackmagic came out, and I was like comparing slow motion modes and sharpness, and then dynamic ranges, and it just points back to the Blackmagic, and Blackmagic also had RAW. FS5 didn't have the RAW feature and stuff like that. So, when you go in color grade, I had more to play around with. And
that's a big game changer.
That's a big game changer. Sure. So, that's why I was like, you know what? I gotta trade up this FS5. So, sold the FS5. Now own a Blackmagic. Owned the Blackmagic for about 3 years now. Amazing camera. love the camera, the sharpness, everything. Like, that's what we still shoot up to today with, you know, the music videos and whatever content I shoot. You know, I use the 4K or Pocket Cinema 4K. And, you know, guys, of course, you know, it's gotta come time where I trade that shit up because there are so many new cameras and
time for a red.
Hey, we're gonna talk about that shit. We're gonna talk about that soon. But no, you know, it's getting to that point. And you know, I would say with the Blackmagic, it's like it doesn't look like a cinema camera.
Yeah.
You know, the brain, it looks like
a normal DSLR.
It looks like a normal DSLR. You know, it just doesn't have that look. So even when I build it up to look like a cinema camera rig, it doesn't look like one. It still looks ugly as hell. You know, even though you can build it up and make it look dope. You know, it's just like, you don't have that cinema camera look where it's that square body and you know, all that. And it's aesthetic. You know, a lot of people love that look, you know, and I love that look as like a filmmaker and stuff. But yeah, no matter what, I still love the Blackmagic. It's been a big game changer for me. Right. So now I want to move on to something a little outside of cameras, which is stabilization. So, you know what? I had no idea about stabilization when I was first starting out, you know, around, when did I start out with stabilization? Probably around 2011, 2012, when I started finding out about things, you know. So I ended up, of course, you know, guys, I'm broke at this time. Like, I was doing a lot of DIY shit and, you know, trying to figure shit out. And so I came across a YouTube video, and it's called the Silver Flyer. And this was pretty much a bootleg version of a Steadicam, which is, you know, like, I gotta show you guys a video or a photo of it, but of what it looked like. But it's a really crazy looking like DIY Steadicam. Yeah. But it worked. It got me some stabilized shots, but nothing compared to, you know, some of the other Steadicams or stuff I've owned, you know. But yeah, like, honestly, I feel like it's still good to do DIY, and I even still look at, you know, some good looking DIY stuff such as sliders. I definitely want to touch on sliders because sliders get you that really nice, you know, track in footage or track out footage pans, you know, and I also made a DIY of that. And guys, like, DIY, like, creating these things is fun at the time, but sometimes when you play back the footage and it doesn't look great, you're like, damn, like, this wasn't worth it. Because compared to the quality that's built on the shit that you buy, you see a huge ass difference. You know, but I'm never knocking anybody doing DIY because I've done it, I've been there, and it's a great way to save money. But sometimes it just doesn't give you the look that you're looking for. Sure. You're limited. You know, another thing I built was a shoulder rig, you know, and so I like a majority of these stuff I built were literally PVC pipings. Almost all PVC piping. Super cheap.
Have we met at this time?
No, we didn't meet.
I don't really remember you using
You never see me use DIY shit because after that, you know, I got my job. I started buying actual shit because, you know, I had the money after that. But, you know, like DIY, it's still good. And I've seen some current DIYs, which is crazy. And they're definitely, it just takes more time. And I'm like, I don't have the tools and the time to do this anymore. I'm just going to buy this shit now. I'm making good money. I can buy it now. So that's what I'm just going to do, you know. But like I said, for people out there trying to save money, go DIY. It's definitely a great, you know,
it's good to go.
Good route to go. Now I'm going to talk about the actual Steadicams I bought, Flycams. Majority of them are, all the Steadicams I bought are by Flycam. Flycam is, I think it's a company based out in India, but they make some good quality like Steadicam stuff, you know, and I think a lot of people are using it today, you know, for more budget friendly Steadicams and stuff like that. And yeah, so I've gone through almost every single one that they produce. The recent one I just got, and I've really transformed into try to make it look like an actual Steadicam, is the Flycam Red King. And the Flycam Red King is based off of, he's another famous like YouTuber that does filmmaking. He has his own line through, I think it was through Steadicam or somewhere like that. But yeah, the Red King is basically a bootleg version of his. But this shit is made with quality steel. I would say it's pretty heavy too. You've held it and stuff, and it's made with real quality. It cost me like $270. So it's a great Flycam and great Steadicam.
Talk about the vest too.
The vest. Oh yeah. So yeah, you know, I also went the route of, you know, trying to build up the Steadicam to make it, or the Flycam to make it look more realistic, like a real Steadicam.
Right.
Obviously, it's not. It's a budget-friendly one, but it does what it needs to. It's amazing. So, and when you build up something, you need a vest. So the vest comes in handy. You put it on your body, and you're able to hold a certain amount of weight, like up to like, you know, 30 pounds or something.
But you
like
own
that.
like 2 different kind of vests.
I have. I've owned a few different vests. The current one I have now is amazing. That's quality, because the one I owned before was like a $200 eBay one, but the one I have now is actually the one by Flycam. So this is already like a branded version versus the one I had before.
Tell them about the story how you went to the hike with the first vest.
I did not think about that. Oh shit.
That's a good story.
That is a good story. Okay. Okay, so I won't talk about this too long, guys, but so our I don't know what to call him now, but anyways, our
homie, our old homie,
our ex-homie, I guess you want to call him, but yeah, so he had a clothing brand, you know, and it was a lot of friend base, you know, we were all friends, and you know, creating content for his clothing brand, and pretty much who it surrounded was dancers and all that stuff. So, you know, John was obviously a part of it. I was the only guy that shot photos and videos and stuff.
But we were like almost like a group. He was with the film and photos, and then we had our homie who was like with the clothing brand, and it was me with the models and the dancers. So we all came together as a collective.
Exactly. And we created content, and it was dope. You know, I actually miss those days. It was super fun. But, you know, we're out here in LA doing big things. So I'm just saying, I got to put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to put it.
Just in case he's watching.
Yeah. You know, you got to kind of put it out there, you know.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to put it on blast like that.
Right.
But hey, you know, you know. You got to do it.
Hey, you know.
Okay.
You know. Go ahead.
So back to the story. Is, yeah, so during that time, you know, I had the Flycam. I was shooting a video for him. I can pop it in here so you guys get an example. But yeah, so shot a video for him. It was morely like commercial. It was like supposed to be like a commercial, but also being inspirational, as each dancer would, you know, explain why they dance, and then which piece they like the most of, you know,
like a mini documentary.
Yeah, like a mini documentary. So we shot this out in Rattlesnake Ledge, which is a very popular hiking spot. A lot of people that even travel to Seattle just to visit go there, you know, to hike. So, you know, if you've been there, it's definitely a long hike. I think it's 4 miles up, and it's a super tall ass hill. Right. Or in the mountain.
It is a zigzag, and it's like inclined the whole way up.
Exactly. You know? We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you looking for a way to energize for the day? We got a product that will do just that.
Introducing Gamer Subs. Gamer Subs is a keto-friendly, zero-calorie, zero-sugar-based energy drink that introduces nootropics to sharpen focus and increase reaction time.
Gamer Subs is also organic caffeine-based that will maximize energy and endurance. To make it easier, each scoop used is 100 milligrams so you don't go over your daily limit.
Each tub of Gamer Subs contains 100 servings. Gamer Subs also provides caffeine-free tubs for those that just want their daily vitamin dose without the need for caffeine.
Not only do they have energy drinks, they also have dope merch, such as these waifu cups, t-shirts, and hoodies, and much more.
Are you ready to energize with Gamer Subs?
Use our code Artistry Drop on their website and receive a 10% off discount.
Hey, now back to the show.
Exactly. Yeah. So my stupid ass trying to look cool and all that shit, like I ended up wearing my whole Steadicam setup with the vest the whole time, walking up to the mountain, holding everything onto there. And this is probably like 40, 50 pounds on my body, guys. I climbed the fucking mountain with this.
With the whole rig.
With the whole rig. Did not take it off once. And I just remember, like, once I took that shit off, my back was in pain. Like, I think, I don't know why I did that. I think I was honestly trying to be cool and, you know, like,
we were even offering, like, you want to take that off, bro?
Yeah.
Like, we all hold a piece until we get to the top. He's like, no, bro. I'm good. Take it all up, wearing it.
Yeah, and like I said, like, I honestly regret that time, and I don't know why I did that. I don't remember the exact reason.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I think I honestly think it was just to look cool because there were a lot of people there, and you know, I maybe felt like, hey, look, and you know, we're gonna get reactions like, oh, what are they doing? You don't see that kind of shit in Seattle. You don't typically see a person with a Steadicam vest or anything like that. So I think it was also just one of those things where I was like trying to look cool and you know, make us look cool and stuff like that. But I regret that shit. And now today, guys, I got a fucking trolley to pull all our equipment, and that would have come in handy during that time.
You'll see a little bit of BTS of me like having the massage gun, like massaging his back, you know, making sure he's good. Because my grandpa was getting old, you know. I need him to last longer, you know. So like, we're even talking about like training me to be a Steadicam operator, so you know it's less load off of him.
Exactly, too, and you know, that's one thing we definitely are gonna talk about on the next episode because I feel like, you know, with it's better when you have your team, obviously. You know, like for me, I've been a one-man band like pretty much a whole time, but since, you know, I've introduced John into getting into music videos and such like that, it's like he's starting to learn, and now it's getting to the point where I gotta teach him more things about filmmaking. He didn't go to film school. He you know, but I've been trying to teach him as much as I can with the stuff I've learned at film school or whatever new knowledge I have, and you know, trying to build up, you know, his knowledge with filmmaking and stuff like that. And you know, obviously it's gonna save him a lot of money. You know, and that's just how it is. You know, you gain experience from other people that have done it, and then you go out and venture, you know, and try to find jobs that way. You know, and that's how majority of people do it. You know, but we're gonna touch on that more on the next episode, guys. But yeah, so continuing back with, you know, my equipment. We're almost done with mine, guys. I know I've been, you know, guys.
They're like, oh shit,
guys. I have owned so much equipment over these last few years, and you know, I just trying to touch on a little bit, but we're almost done here with this part. We're gonna let John, you know, take over, but I want to talk about drones. Now drones are they're blowing up now. You know, like drones have gotten very popular over the last few years. And one drone company, obviously, you know who I'm going to say is DJI. DJI has taken over the drone game. They have been... DJI.
No, you said DG.
No, I said DJI.
Okay. We'll put it in the reel. We're going to put it in the reel.
When I go back and edit this shit, we're going to see.
He's going to edit this shit out.
No, I don't do that. Damn, if I actually said DG, the drink really got me.
And if I really heard DG instead of DJI,
the drink got really me. Got you.
But we're going to see.
Facts. We're going to see. But yeah, guys, so DJI, like, game changer.
You said it again.
DJI.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, see, you're right, love? He said DJI.
He did.
Or I said DJI. Damn, you're done.
DJI.
DJI.
Yeah, no, you said DJI.
No, I said DJI.
Oh,
maybe that's what you're hearing. Maybe that's just my pronunciation.
I think that's just how you say it.
Maybe I'm just saying not saying
DJI.
Yeah. DJI.
Yeah.
No,
it does sound like G.
It sounds like G.
It does sound like
G.
Like,
it sounds like
G.
I'll admit it. It's just my pronunciation.
Okay.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know, but I don't know if they know what I'm talking about.
Fuck you. Okay, so guys, I've actually owned the first generation of the Phantoms. These were I owned the first ones, but I have a great story to tell on that because
many stories.
Many stories with the Phantoms, and this is why today's Phantoms are crazy. Every time I see the new technology invested into it, I'm like, damn, this shit is going crazy because I've owned the first generation, the second, the fourth, the Mavic Airs, the Mavic Air 2, which is the one I currently own, but I want to go back and touch about the Phantom 1 and Phantom 2. So I got the Phantom 1. This shit does not come with a camera. I had to.
What the fuck?
No, it does not come with the camera. I think it does come with the camera, but it doesn't come with a gimbal. Okay. It's not a gimbal camera or anything.
It's not stabilized.
Not stabilized or anything. So what you have to do is you use a GoPro. Use a GoPro and you buy like a secondhand like a secondary gimbal and you install that shit, right? You remember? Remember with Robin? You remember what happened? Me, you,
at
and
the park?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Okay, so now you kind of know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that was GoPro and gimbal and all that shit.
Was that the one? I felt like that was like the 2 or...
That was the 2, but it's the same shit. It's almost the same exact thing. So pretty much what I'm getting at is, guys, like, this was like at the bottom of the barrel. Didn't have technology. You would have to use a GoPro. You have to buy a gimbal if you want to get some nice
sensors
shots. Or
no avoidance.
No sensors. No GPS.
Yeah.
And this shit was scary to fly, because if you did not know how to control it, that shit would veer off and go crash. And that's exactly what's happened to me over 2 to 3 times. So the very first Phantom I got, you know, I went to a park, tested it out, and there, like I said, no GPS or, you know, sensors or anything. This shit just flew away. And I was trying to control it back to me, and it would not come back to me. It flew away. And all I see, or all I hear is, this was out of my vision. And then I just see black smoke coming up. I'm like, what the fuck? So this thing went all the way across the street. I did not know where it went. So I had to follow where the smoke was coming, and I went over there, and I was terrified because there were people there, and something could have gone wrong in my end. They probably could have called the cops on me or something like that. Accuse me and stuff like that. And that shit was done. And that was a birthday present for me. Like,
how much was those?
I think
at
they
the
were
time?
like 400 at that time. So yeah, I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I just built this shit, because, you know, you can add dope stuff to it and attachments, you know, and went on with same day gone. So, you know, obviously I needed to get another one. So, you know, I waited until the Phantom 2 came out. Phantom 2 came out. The shit was almost still the same thing. You know, there wasn't much difference. You still had to add like a gimbal, I believe, and GoPro and stuff like that. This is the one where we shot. So, you know, once I got it, I was trying to test it out with John and our boy Robin, and shit still crashed. And there, you know, there was no GPS or anything like that. It hovers, but the thing is, it veers off. It doesn't stay in one place like the Phantoms or the Mavic Airs today. You know, it veers off. So once it veers off, it's hard to control. And while we were shooting this little content, that shit veered off, crashed again. Luckily, when it crashed, it wasn't the whole thing. The gimbal was fucked up, and it was smoking. I think you remember that.
I think so,
So, the gimbal was fucked up. But, yeah. So, and then Mavic, or Phantom 4 comes out. That shit was amazing. That shit changed a lot. Like, that was a game changer for drones.
It's still big and bulky,
It's still big and bulky. It's still fucking loud, but it still looked cool. It was nice, sleek, had this luxury look to it and stuff like that. But, yeah, that finally had GPS. It finally had sensors. Of course, you got to move to the next one, which is the Mavic Airs. And Mavic Air is smaller, but it has amazing technology. You know, still shoots 4K, has some slow-mo and stuff like that. Better sensors, obviously. And I feel like it's more prone to people that want to just be able to pack up small. You know, it's very portable.
And it's cheaper.
Obviously, but it still looks cool. And it gets the job done. You know, and I feel like that's all you really need. Like, just reflecting off of everything that I kind of mentioned, all you need is something that will get the job done. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you have. Obviously, sometimes a majority of us are always thinking about, we want a new camera. But
the best quality. And that's what goes through our mind. And I feel like it doesn't need to be that, because we've already talked about that. Cameras don't matter. It's how you tell your story. A lot of people are more attracted to the story than the quality of the video. I mean, I'm not going to say people are going to be attracted to fucking flip cameras now today. 480p
the 480p's and stuff, you know. Like, I'm not going to say like people are going to love that. But if you can create some funny content or something that will attract them, they're not going to care about it. They're going to just pay more attention to that content than versus what it looks like. If it's making me laugh, that's fine. Like, I could care less about what it looks like.
I mean, look at TikTok.
Yeah, look at TikTok. And it still degrades some of the quality, you know. But I feel like, you know, for a majority of us, it's like we always want to upgrade to the next thing whenever we see something nice come out. And I think that's just a mentality thing. It's not something where we're like, oh, no, I could just keep with this, like, and create, you know, like, a good story. It's like, no, I want that shit. Like, you know, and that's just a mentality thing. And all of us go through it. But
best of the best.
Yeah, best of the best. But sometimes you got to reflect back and be like, no, I can make some good content with what I have now.
Do you really need it?
Do you really need it? We got fucking Blackmagic shoots 4K, but guys, like, I want something like, you know, just because it looks cool and it shoots better, you know, but it's a mentality thing. So, but you know what? Like, guys, I've talked a lot. We're going to let John talk about his stuff now.
So mine is definitely definitely going to be a lot shorter because he's definitely went through like a lot more equipment than I have, and he's been in the game longer than I have as well. But, you know, thinking back, you know, back to my high school years, before I even thought about like taking photography or film seriously, I did dabble into it without even like knowing it. And, you know, I shot with a little Kodak camera that I got as a Christmas present from my parents, because I always told them, you know,
was it a point and shoot?
Yeah, little point and shoot digital camera. It was blue.
I think everybody had one of those.
Right. Yeah. And at the time, I think like razors were out, you know, and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I need something better than a razor phone. And honestly, like on the razor phone, this was back when I first started dancing, shooting like Jabberwocky videos with the mask and everything. I would shoot it on my razor all the time, and I would edit all the photos from that razor. Yeah. So I needed to upgrade. And then I had my brother and sister like record me on that little Kodak camera while I was dancing and stuff like that. And then, you know, I mostly used that for personal use. And then going into high school, we were able to like kind of borrow this T2i camera from our photography film school. And so at the time we would, you know, borrow that. And thinking back, I totally forgot about this, but like me and my friend Mark, you know about this, like the Twinkie video and stuff like that. We would make skits. You know,
funny.
All the
I wish I could have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, we would make skits all the time, and one of the skits was for his like he was taking Japanese class at the time, and
do you want to talk about the Twinkie video?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it because it's never been said before, and it's like an iconic part of my high school year.
That shit is funny though.
Yeah, so basically we made this skit because one of my homies, Mark and Adrio, if you guys are watching this, shout out to you guys, had a project that they had to do, and they had to like come up with a concept and da-da-da. So my homie Mark, he's like when you had your group of friends, you had that one person who was like
they had that creativity.
Yeah, creativity. Come up with the plot and everything.
Yeah. But it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. And I was the guy with the film camera, and I knew how to dance, so you know I could kind of act a little bit, type of thing. But he was like, okay, the concept is that what if we had like a magical Twinkie that once you ate it, you magically turned black? And I was like, okay. And I was like, sure, I think that would be funny, you know, just like, you know, thinking back, our sense of humor, and we were like on this small circle, and we were like, okay, yeah, fuck it, we'll do it. So literally we shoot this video, it's like super elaborate. This guy is like running through the woods, right? And then like another guy dressed like as a wizard throws this fucking piece of wood to the guy who's running in the trail, and the trail guy trips over the wood, and then Mark, okay, let me tell you the little backstory. Mark was like, what if the guy who eats the Twinkie, you know, like is not black, obviously, and it's me, and like right when you eat the Twinkie, you we cut, and then you come up, and then you turn black. And I'm like, okay, so that was okay, right? That was like kind of borderline. We were like, okay, we'll run with it. But the fact, on the day of the shoot, I trip over the log. I'm crawling, and then we had our other homie named Jordan. He's white, and he was like, Jordan, instead of just like handing him the Twinkie, what if you like just hold it like on, as if it was your dick, and was just like dangling it in circles. And then as I'm crawling, and I was like, okay, at the time we were fucking stupid, like a total like jackass like moment. We were just like, okay, yeah, that seems funny, yeah, that'd be hella funny. So like literally like I trip over the wood, I'm crawling, and then it cuts to Jordan like swiveling his Twinkie around, and then I come up and I take a it cuts like a side view of me taking a bite of the Twinkie while he's holding it as his dick, and then it cuts. And then it's like a POV of Jordan's view, and then it cuts of me coming up, and I turn to Mark, which is black, who is black. And then not only was I black, but like he had fucking fucking whipped cream from the Twinkie all over his face, and then he walks away. And then I literally edit that video into Sony Vegas. I put like Eye of the Tiger running through the fucking trail and shit like that, and we submit it to school. And then all of a sudden we submitted to school, you know, it's being reviewed by the teacher, and then I'm in PE at the stadium. You know, we're doing like a mile, and then one of the security guards pulled me over, and well, before he pulled me over, I got a text from one of my group of friends. They're like, "Hey, we're all getting pulled to the principal's office," and I was like, "What? Why?" And then he's like, "It was because of the video," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then all of a sudden, like literally like 2 minutes after, the security guard, I see him coming from all the way across of the fucking stadium where we're running at, and then he's like, "Hey, you gotta come with me," and I was like, "Oh fuck." So we're all sitting in, and my dumbass, when I edited this video, I put all our names in the credit. Like we fucking did some like monumental shit. But literally,
I mean, it was like a movie though.
It was like a movie, yeah. But literally, they knew all their names. And then the one person that I didn't know their last name, I didn't put his last name on. And literally everybody who had their full name on it got pulled to the principal's office except for him. Oh. Because I didn't put his last name.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, fuck. So and then once we got to the principal's office, he pulls a laptop and then he plays a video. He's like, "You think this is appropriate?" And then we're all fucking quiet. But we're like laughing inside, yeah. But we're like,
I would be too.
I guess. And we all got suspended.
Yeah.
We all got suspended. I think it was like 2 weeks or something like that. And then they had to tell my parents, obviously. And then they were like, so what happened? And I literally had to tell them.
Did you show it?
No, I didn't show it, but I had to tell them like why we got suspended. I fucking ate a Twinkie that was like wiggling around like a dick, and I came up and I turned black.
I mean, and your dad is black.
Yeah,
so
man,
what did he think about that?
He didn't say anything. He was just crossing his head like he was disappointed.
Oh god.
And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, long story short, after all that shit, like I was like taking photos with that Kodak camera, and I was doing skits and coordinating and filming these like little YouTube videos type of thing, and I didn't really realize that I was actually like building my way up to where we are now, and stuff like that. So like
you never know the future.
Right. Yeah. I was totally just into dance. So of course, like when you're into the arts, you kind of dabble into like different parts of the art field. So yeah, that was me. And then it wasn't until I met Corey and our other homie, and I started shooting with their cameras. I think I practiced on the GH4 with you. Yeah. And then I forgot what our other homie had, some kind of Canon camera. Yeah. And then he kind of convinced me to get into photography, and we started going on shoots. At first we were just shooting on the GH4, I think, just like
we would take turns
using the same camera.
No, I think shit, I forgot how we actually did it. I think, didn't you have your own memory card? You would pop it in there, yeah. And then when it was my turn, I would put mine back in. So at least you had your own photos to edit, when it comes
I took it home and then I edited it.
I think that's how we did it.
Yeah, and then after a while, we started gaining traction, and I was like, okay, I need my own camera. So then I looked at the Sony A6300, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. It can do the best of both worlds, video and photos. So yeah, I got the A6300, and then he got the A6300, and then I had the kit lens at first. I forgot what it was. It's like
I think it was like 18 to 55 or something like that.
So I was like, oh, it has a lot of range, but I think the f-stop was like 2 point something.
And it's
like 3.5.
And it's not constant. So once you zoom in, that shit is closed.
Right. And he was kind of warning me about the kit lens, but I was like, it's a good price. I don't want to buy another lens on the side on top of that. So I was like, I'll go with the kit lens. Yeah. And then, I was shooting with the kit lens for a minute, but then he got the A63 or the 1835 Sigma, and then I saw his camera, and I was like, bro, that's like a big game changer. Like I didn't know, because I was an amateur. I was like, who knew like the quality of the glass in the lens would make such a big difference? Me being an amateur, I thought like it was the body, because the body has the functions.
Honestly, I think that's what a majority of us starting out thinks.
Right.
Nobody knows that it's the glass.
Right.
Like you can shoot on a 18 megapixel camera and have the best glass, but you guess what? You are gonna get the best image.
Right.
It doesn't matter
Sharper.
about it doesn't matter about the megapixels. It matters about that glass.
Right.
And yeah, so like I said, that's one thing even for me. Like, you know, when I started out shooting, I thought it was all about the camera. Like when I see 24 megapixels, because I think that's the max majority of like mirrorless cameras or DSLR cameras do is like 24. You're like, oh fuck, like that shit is weak. Like, you know, like you want the highest one, but guys, megapixels don't matter. Get good glass.
Right. In the 1835, it was done after that. Once I switched from the 1835 off of the kit lens, I sold the kit lens, never looked back. And that 1835, as we said, you know, we still have to this day.
Yep.
And, you know, after shooting photos with the 1835, I actually started getting into vlogging. So, you know, I had like that short, like monopod, I think it's called. And then I switched to the 16 mil Sigma. You know, I think it's like...
Yeah, it's a 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4. Yeah. And then, so I started, you know, doing vlogs and stuff like that.
Would you like to tell them why we switched to a 16 millimeter?
I mean, yeah, because definitely it's wider. So obviously the 18, even though we zoom all the way out, like it wouldn't get like the environment behind you, and it would just like be so close into your face. So we had to get something a little bit wider. I mean, if we had full frame, it would definitely be like the perfect way.
The key is it's fucking heavy, guys.
Oh yeah, that too.
It's the 18 to 35. It's a beast of a lens.
Yeah.
It's built
it's long. And it's heavy.
It's heavy. Like it's built like a tank. Like I love that lens so much. But that is the key why I think even both of us switched is because the 16 millimeter is literally just plastic. It's not made out of any kind of metal or aluminum. The 18 to 35 is literally made out of some kind of metal or aluminum, and it's just a tank. Like,
and it's a newer lens.
Yeah, it's a newer. Yeah, and that. But it's just too heavy to vlog. Even though you're gonna get a better looking vlog. It's gonna look more cinematic than the 16 1.4. It's too heavy, guys. Yeah.
Not only is it heavy, but it attracts more attention. Yeah. So like when you're vlogging, it looks
like a big black one.
Yeah, exactly. Super big. They think you're a professional, you know. But since the Sony A6300 already has a small body, you could kind of get away compared to like a Canon. You know, Canon's fucking big, bulky. You could, and some places don't allow you to take professional cameras. You know, so having the 16 mil rather than the 1835, you know, had a smaller
It's a small
footprint.
black just like you.
No. I'm a big black, but you know, big black one. But yeah, having a smaller footprint lets you go into a lot of other places. Yeah. You know, let's say you're going to like Universal or Disneyland and stuff like that. They don't allow professional cameras, so having that smaller camera with the smaller lens lets you like go to these places and also attracts less attention. Because,
in general,
you know,
so in general, like I think majority of theme parks, they will let you use professional cameras, but they just won't let you use selfie sticks.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Okay. But you're right. No, like I fully 100% agree with you. Is the bigger their lens, the more attraction you're going to get. But even still, if you're holding a camera up like this and you're talking to it, people see you. They're like,
That's
oh,
true,
it's a vlogger. You know, it's a fucking vlogger. But yeah, no, I mean, in general, like, I would just say the 18 to 35 is not the greatest vlog lens. But it would be an amazing vlog lens because you're going to get a cinematic look to it.
Yeah, and it's versatile. It's versatile for photography and film.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something, if you're not thinking about vlogging, it's definitely a go-to. You know, we've been using it for more than 5 years now. So yeah, that's definitely number one for us. But yeah, going into vlogging, like I also wanted something more stable. You know, I wanted a gimbal. So, you know, having that monopod and having the A6300 that doesn't have built-in IBS stabilization, like, you know, I wanted something a little bit more stable, especially when I'm vlogging, holding it out like this. So I actually bought an Osmo Pocket when it first came out, the Osmo Pocket 1, and at the time, like, it was cool. Like, it had all the features, like 4K, 1080 and stuff like that. It had like 1080 slow-mo. I don't know if it had 120, but it definitely had 60. But something about the image quality, it wasn't sharp enough for me, and the tracking wasn't like super perfect. You know, I had the fucking drones had with the tracking. You know, you track a box and it stays within that range and stuff like that. But like, you could tell like it was still like a prototype piece of equipment. So like, I sold that and I just stuck with the 16 millimeter with the Sigma lens, or with the Sony A6300, and I've been fine with that. But over time, I realized like, you know, vlogging is not really me. Like I don't know how other people do it out there for people who make it out for vlogs, but like I tried it and it was so like an extroverted thing for me to do. You know, I'm an introverted person, so like going out and putting myself out there in front of a camera, in front of the crowd, everyone's like watching me and I'm like doing all this, like it was just so much energy that I had to put out. And I was like, you know what? I don't think vlogging's for me. And I couldn't do it all the time. So I needed content, but I didn't feel like I could be that person in front of the camera, in front of the spotlight. So yeah, I scrapped that, and you know, I started doing sit down talks, and I'm glad we did this podcast because I feel a lot more at home now, you know, with this podcast, you know, and so yeah, I definitely didn't have that much equipment compared to Corey, but you know, I definitely want to explore more into it. And you know, with the equipment that he has, you know, he's definitely been like training me and like getting me more toned into the filmmaking side of things. So yeah, I can't wait to like see what the next level of equipment that we use. Speaking of camera equipment, what was your like most favorite and least favorite equipment that you've used?
I would say my DIY shit.
There's a least favorite.
That would be the least like favorite shit that I've owned and used, obviously, because you know, whatever you build is not going to compare to what, you know, these companies build with like quality materials. Right. I'm using fucking PVC piping to build like a $20 Steadicam, or versus something you buy like $100, $200 Steadicam.
Made out of metal.
Made out of metal and all that. So of course, you know, it's going to be my least favorite. Obviously my most is going to be the Blackmagic. I love that shit. I love that camera. I love working with that camera, even though it's not the ideal camera or the dream camera, which we will get into later. It's done amazing things for me. It's done amazing things for us with what we do. And yeah, like I would say, you know, and number one, it's fucking budget. Like it's one of the cheapest cinema cameras out there.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, and you know, it gets great image quality. It's something like a movie. And you know, I've watched so many short films and music videos shot with the Blackmagic, and you would never guess it was shot with a Blackmagic because this shit, it goes back to the glass. Yeah, like you can use fucking expensive glass on the Blackmagic and be like
Cine lenses.
Cine lenses, yeah, no, like these expensive ass ones, you know, like a lot of PL mount lenses, which are used for like Reds and you know all the movies, would look fucking amazing on a Blackmagic. I can already feel it, but you got to get adapters for a PL lens, and PL lens are just in general fucking expensive. But no, like I can just imagine like if we had those, like these would look like movies, like honestly. And like I said, in general, it's just a great budget cinema camera because you have good dynamic range. You can shoot in RAW. It's smaller, obviously. It's not as heavy, but once you do build it up to, you know, look more like a rig, it does get heavy, especially once we mount it on the Steadicam. So yeah, I mean that's you know my take. How about you know going back to you?
Yeah, I'll start with my least. You know, the least favorite obviously was the kit lens. I was like, you know, it was easy. It was
you can tell
budget.
Like,
you could tell like. I felt like an amateur with the kit lens.
I felt the same.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? I felt like I was getting the same quality as the Kodak camera that I first started out with. And I was like, this camera cost me like over $1,000 and you're telling me I'm getting the same image quality as I was with a camera that was like $300 to $400. You know, so like definitely after I left that kit lens, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is trash. Over, but I would say my most favorite equipment besides, you know, the camera and the Sigma lens would be, you know, the filters I use. Cinepax filters. Shout out to Cinepax. You know, I've done a few shoots with them, but this is not like a paid you know, sponsorship or anything. Yeah, but like I really like you know, their prism, and they have like this mount that you mount to on the bottom, and it's like an extended arm that you could mount like a prism lens or any of their lens. I really like their I forgot what it's called, but it's a RGB lens, and then they have a clear streak filter, so you get those anamorphic streaks that you would like on an anamorphic lens camera. And so like, yeah, Cinepax has been the go for sure, and is really like elevated my photography into the next level, and really has pushed my creativity to, you know, the next step.
Yeah.
But aside from equipment, like, you know, I want to get into like a little bit of like gimbals and Steadicams.
Yeah.
Like what's your take into like what's the difference and what has worked for you?
We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you a gamer and looking to amp up your gaming setup? Then we've got an amazing gaming brand for you. Tilted Nation strives to get their customers involved with their development process of new products in order to establish a personal connection, and not to mention truly optimized products for the gaming community. They want to go beyond developing amazing products and to lead the gaming community into a united community that works together. A community that pushes gaming essentials to unimaginable heights. They've hooked us up with amazing gear such as this gaming headset stand, mouse pads, and this awesome laptop RGB stand right below my laptop. And now they're hooking you guys up. Use the discount code Artistry Drop on their website, link below, and receive a 15% discount. Now back to the show. Well, I mean, you know, when we talk about gimbals and Steadicams, like, I think this is a big debate. It's a big debate between a lot of filmmakers, because a lot of filmmakers do use gimbals and a lot of filmmakers just stick with Steadicams, or some will use a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Now for me, like, I've owned both. When it comes to gimbals, I've owned like, you know, like great gimbals, but when it comes to Steadicams, I've owned the budget Steadicams, and I'm working on owning like a professional actual Steadicam, you know. But, you know, fly cams and Steadicams, these budget ones, work the same exact way a Steadicam would, but it's just these Steadicams are so expensive, but they look dope. Like, they look so cool. Yeah, but, you know, to touch more on the subject, like, I've owned quite a few of gimbals. I've owned a Came TV, which originally came out, I think, in 2013, 2014. It was a Came TV 5000, if I remember. I've owned the DJI Osmo, the original one, and remember we shot a dance video with that just to test out the quality on it. That shit was dope. It worked great. I still have a Ronin M, which is an amazing gimbal as well. Obviously, DJI. There you go. DJI. And I also have a Feiyutech, which is a more, you know, another budget gimbal. And like I said, you know, I love gimbals. And when gimbals first came out, I think Came TV was one of the first gimbals that had come out. Once I got it, I was like, damn, this shit is amazing. Like, you know, I've already worked with fly cams previously before gimbals. So I know like kind of the difference and how each one works, you know? And gimbals are amazing. Like I said, they're amazing. They're super high tech, and, you know, they get better today, you know, the way they're produced and everything. But I would say, you know, there are the disadvantages of owning gimbals. Like, to me, owning, and we barely use gimbals today.
I know, right?
Like, you know, now I'm just on Steadicam, and the biggest reason why I would say is because the way the footage looks. Gimbals have really good steady footage, but if you don't balance your camera properly on a gimbal, you're gonna have this bouncy look. And it doesn't look natural whatsoever. So you're going to have to go into Premiere. You're going to have to do warp stabilization. And then sometimes warp stabilization even fucks it up. It's going to look too warpy and stuff like that, you know? So that would be the one thing I would say, you know, gimbals they just don't look natural. Like, the movement doesn't look natural. It looks too smooth. You know, there are times where it looks too smooth, or those times where it's like, you know, you're walking and then you see the bounce. So you have to obviously utilize warp stabilizer. I would say the best time those come in handy is when you're shooting a rolling shot, like a car shot.
Where there's too much movement.
Yeah. Or, you know, something. I would say like rolling shots and stuff, something like that, you stick your body out, you're just still, those come out amazing. You don't need to do too much movement. You're just shooting a car. But when it comes to like shooting a person or sports or something like that, like, yeah, it's going to keep your footage looking super stable, but sometimes you're going to still have that look where it's like it looks a little bouncy or just doesn't look natural. Now, to steady cams, like I said, I've owned like fly cams and steady cams before gimbals had even come out. I think I've already just been adapted to how fly cams and steady cams and, you know, all these other steady cam brands look. Like the footage just looks so much more natural. Like, and it's number one thing to me, it's more funner to operate. I don't know if that's a word, funner. But it's more fun to operate, I would say. Like, just having that vest on and then, you know, building up your Steadicam rig and putting it on, it just looks so cool. Like, you see a person with a Steadicam rig and you're like, that shit looks dope. But and then it's also fun to operate. I know my setup is not what like a $20,000 Steadicam would look like, but I tried to make it as close as possible. And I know it would be almost the same, but obviously it's going to be a lot more heavier when you work with a more professional Steadicam rig. Mine is definitely a lot more lighter. I've weighed it. It's probably at around 20, 25 pounds, where majority of these people working in movies and professional music videos, these are weighing like anywhere from 30 to 50 to even 75 pounds. You know, they're fucking heavy. But yeah, I would say my number one thing would, and when we're comparing like disadvantages and advantages is price, the way your footage look. Okay, let me say price. Price is because gimbals are cheap. Like, you can get fucking amazing, you know, stabilization for starting at like $100, starting with your cell phone. You know, they have cell phone gimbals now, and then Osmos and, you know, Ronins and all that. Like, they go up in price, so you can get really budget, steady looking footage. When it comes to fly cams or, you know, bootleg steady cams, you can get those starting at maybe 50, 60 bucks on Amazon and up. You know, like my Flycam Red King, that cost me like $270. But I've converted it now to try to look more legit, like more like an actual Steadicam. You know, so that's what I would say is like the advantages and disadvantages of price would be like it's kind of even. You know, it's kind of even as far as price goes. It just kind of depends on how you like the route you want to go. If you want super steady footage, go get yourself a gimbal at like $300-400.
Exactly.
If you want more natural, go get yourself a fly cam for like starting at maybe 100 plus and stuff like that. But in general, like my take is, and this is why, and I've told you this is why I've been using more Steadicam versus gimbals, is because the more natural look. And it's just more fun to operate. I feel like when you're on a set, and you're also filming, you should also have fun doing what you're doing. Like holding a gimbal and just running with your subject or whatever, it's not as fun. Versus, you know, like being in a Steadicam vest and taking control of the shot, like the full control of the shot with the Steadicam. Because it takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill to operate a Steadicam versus a gimbal. You know, so, you know, big shout out to a lot of those Steadicam guys. I watch a lot of them on YouTube and their tutorials on, and, you know, I'm not anywhere near a professional Steadicam operator, but I want to be one day. You know, I hope one day I can, you know, get to that point where I own a super dope Steadicam rig, you know. Yeah, of course, you know, like a $10,000-$20,000 one. That's the goal, you know. But yeah, big shout out to those, you know, that are operating those Steadicams, because they're not easy. A lot of gimbal operators should give a lot of props to Steadicam operators.
No, like I didn't even realize there was such a big like difference until you mentioned it. You know, because at first we were working. Well, we did dive into a little bit of Steadicam first, and then we got into gimbals, and then we got back into Steadicam, and I didn't really realize how much of like a big difference in movement, you know, it made into the final product. So like I could definitely see that advantage, but you know, I think a lot of disadvantages that people might see, especially for beginner filmmakers, you know, who want to get a gimbal, obviously, because that's like hyped. And
it's hyped. That's the one thing I would say. It's like if you're just getting, and like, of course, I'm going to touch on Jacob Owens. Jacob Owens has, you know, I watch Jacob Owens, big shout out to him. But yeah, you know, he's owned gimbals, but he's talked down on them. And I do see why, because, you know, like I've owned both, and I see the reasoning why he talks down on them, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that. I mean,
yeah, no, but I'm talking about the disadvantages for the amateur filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who might look down upon Steadicams. Yeah, because one, it's heavier.
Yeah.
And two, you know, it's kind of a debate, but like when you have a vest and the Steadicam, you'll probably get kicked out of most places. I mean, you would with the gimbal as well, but 100%. That looks more professional and more of a bigger shoot that people are like, oh no, you gotta leave. You know, once you have the vest on, it's official. You know, so I could definitely see the flip side, but if you haven't tried both, you don't really know like the story of both sides and how big of a difference it makes. And you know, definitely the learning curve too. Because anybody can pick up a gimbal, you know,
and do it and get footage. Yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to Steadicam, there's an actual
lot
talent,
of practice.
The way you move your feet, the pace you zoom in and zoom out.
Exactly.
Like every little thing matters.
Exactly.
And when you were trying to teach me, I was like, man, this shit's hard. Like gimbal, you know, I could kind of like adjust to it, you know, but like the gimbal was hard. Yeah.
Anybody, honestly. Anybody can operate a gimbal because no matter what, your footage is going to look super steady, but you're going to, depending on like if you're super amateur, you're going to have that little bump in the footage. But that's also why, you know, Steadicam vests come in handy, because you have that third option of not trying to create that little bump in the footage. That's why some gimbal operators do use Steadicam vests, so they don't have that little bump in the footage. But this is another thing, guys, like, yes, gimbals are dope, but remember where filmmaking history came in. It was Steadicam. You know, Steadicam. Yeah, that was the beginning. So, you know, you really have to like give huge props and all that to like Steadicams. Like, if you're pro gimbals only, guys, go try fucking operating a Steadicam and see how hard it is. Because almost 100% of movies are shot on Steadicam. Majority of people in the film industry will not use gimbals. Just because, like, Steadicams have always been there. Like, Steadicams were the first, you know, stabilization tool. You know, and, yeah, like I said, like, if you hate on Steadicams, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't, I'm just saying, if you do operate one and then see how hard it is to get smooth as footage. I think,
like, as you mature as a filmmaker too, you realize all these different tools are meant for different scenarios. You know?
And that's facts. Like, let me touch on that real quick, because each tool will definitely, you know, be better for certain opportunities. Gimbals, for me, I would say gimbals are better for more rolling shots. You know, like instead of using handheld, you're getting those nice rolling shots of cars and all of that. But when it comes to, you know, like following a subject or, you know, tracking a shot or something, the footage sometimes just looks too smooth, and I can immediately tell if it was shot on a gimbal versus a Steadicam. You know, like, go ahead and continue.
No, even like with handheld, like an amateur photographer or filmmaker would be like, no, I need to do everything on a gimbal. But they don't really realize if you use a handheld on an action shot, like that's gonna give more realistic, more personal type of feel, and they don't really realize because they're so tunnel vision. They're so tunnel vision on like, no, gimbals, I need to use a gimbal. It's more professional type of shit. But they don't really realize that every tool has a purpose of the scenario that you're trying to shoot. And I think, you know, as you mature as a filmmaker, you know, you kind of realize that.
And you do. And like I said, I mean, you know, that's for me as like a filmmaker and stuff like that. I've gone through those. Like, I've gone through the several types of stabilization from gimbals to, you know, back to Steadicams and such. And like I said, I'm not following the gimbal hype. Just because, you know, I've worked with both. And you could see a difference with both and what kind of opportunities and shots you can get with both. They both have different opportunities and shots that you can get, but I just love that natural look. You know, that that super still look that you get with gimbals. It's just too still with me. You know, or it's too still for me. And that's why sometimes, like, some of the gimbal shots I get, it has that little bounce effect. So when I go back into Premiere and, you know, warp stabilize it and look back at the footage, it's like, now it looks even more shittier. You know, I was like, fuck.
Can't
like,
fix it.
Yeah, you can't fix that shit, you know? So versus like with Steadicam, there have been times where it's like, oh, damn, my footage looks a little... You know,
too bumpy.
Yeah, not a little bumpy. It's just it didn't look as how I looked when I was looking at the monitor.
Okay.
You know, but there's been many times where it's like, okay, this shot I can do warp stabilizer. I'll go in smooth as fuck. Right. Like versus a gimbal, you got that big ass bounce, and that shit you warp stabilize it. It looked
terrible,
way too bouncy. So yeah, I mean that's my take, and you know, like I said, definitely the goal with us and, you know, production company, we're definitely going more of the route with Steadicams. So, but guys, you know what? We've been talking a lot. I think it's time to get into a little bit more fun. Let's get into Artistry Roulette.
Oh, here on the Artistry Roulette, we want to bring something new and exciting to the show. So today we're going to play a game called Artistry Roulette. If you hadn't heard already, here is how the game is going to go. You're going to choose a number between 1 and 6. Each number will contain a random question which you only have 15 seconds to answer. Each question that goes over 15 seconds will cost you a sip of that drink. Corey, John, are you ready to answer all 6 questions?
Yes, we are.
Yes. We are.
And you are going first because you said your odd numbers. So,
okay, we're going in order this time.
Yes, we're going in order. We're not...
Normally, you know, our guest...
It's roulette.
Chooses the number. Yeah. But since it's just us, we're going to go right down...
And love, you want to hear these questions, so...
Yes.
John said you want to hear these questions, so...
Yes.
Okay.
So, number 1, going in. Corey. Nipple boy. Light-skinned Michael Jackson or dark-skinned Michael Jackson? Ooh. Ready? Timer starts now.
I would say light-skinned.
But why?
Just because the fact, of course, you know, like, I would say light-skinned started, like... Oh, damn, that's hard.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't want Joey to get mad at me. No. Okay, yeah, I'll take a sip
you got to take a sip. That was 15 seconds.
No, like, I would say, you know, like he mentioned, is... Dark skin started it all. You had Thriller, you had, you know, pretty much, off the wall. You know, it started it all. But I feel like, you know, of course, when he, you know, had his skin disease and all that shit, it's like, and he turned white. I mean, I don't want to say white. He got light skin, but I would say he produced a lot of hits. Like, he had, you know, like Smooth Criminal, Liberian Girl, like all these hits I feel like a lot of people will always remember. I mean, I'm not saying like Thriller is not memorable. I love Thriller. I love everything on the Thriller album, Off the Wall album. Like, you know, that was his black era, but definitely like as he progressed, when he got his skin disease and, you know, got light skin and stuff like that, that's where he produced a lot of hits.
Yeah, a lot of legendary hits.
Yeah, a lot of legendary hits.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Damn, my phone's about to die.
Oh, shit.
So hopefully I can remember this shit, guys. So, for John, would you rather have nipples for toes or toes for nipples, and why?
Timer starts now.
Yes.
Toes for nipples, because I wouldn't never have to show them.
I mean, okay, I guess that is true.
That's 9 seconds.
Okay, that is true. Okay, you got that one.
Okay. Okay. Corey.
Yes.
Nipple boy.
Yes.
If you couldn't die... Oh, wait. If you were about to die tomorrow and you only had the choice to stay 8 years old forever or 65 years old forever, which will you choose? Timer starts now. And why?
If I could only stay 8 years old?
Or 65 years old forever, which would you choose and why?
I would say 65 years old.
But why?
Just because at least I've already seen a lot of shit that has happened in the world. But and then, like, I'm going to stay that age. Like, I've already, like, I feel like if I was 8 years old, I would not progress.
Yeah. 26 seconds. You gotta drink. Yeah, I would want to stay old too, because 8 years old, you're like so naive and you haven't really experienced the world. But also, like, if you stay 8 years old for like 20 years from now, you still remember everything from 20 years.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. So it's like,
but then you don't have a big dick and you're just like small. And you can never get with a girl that's your age because you're small.
That is true. That is.
But then if you're too old, like, you can never get with a girl who's like, in their prime.
That is true. That is facts. That is facts.
So it's like, give or take.
Yes, that is facts. Okay, so my phone died. I don't remember my questions.
Oh shit.
So I'm gonna just go off of what I remember. Okay, so I think the next question was, would you rather kiss your celebrity crush, or would you rather get paid $5,000?
Okay, timer starts now. $5,000.
Or kiss your celebrity crush.
No, $5,000 could get me a way longer place than kiss my celebrity crush.
Yeah, but what if something develops with your celebrity crush?
Nothing's gonna develop.
But what if they're hella bougie and rich and they can supply you with that money?
I mean, we're just talking about a kiss. We're not talking about fucking. If you're talking about fucking, it's a different story.
Sometimes you gotta think about that in advance, so you never know.
Just a kiss. That's a kiss. That's nothing. I'd rather get $5,000.
Yeah, but think about it. Okay, so think about this.
Okay.
You gotta think about it.
Well, I know what you would choose.
No, I'm just saying. Think about this. If you were to choose, just take the 5,000.
Right.
That's all you're getting. But if you think about the long run, because this is also long run. That's just a question, right? You kiss your celebrity crush. Something happens and they're fucking rich. Guess what? You'll be making more than $5,000.
Or I could be rich, get the $5,000, and then.
But you're not rich.
But $5,000 rich, more rich, and I could spend $1,000 on like this girl who's like kind of bougie, and then fuck her, and then be with her for life.
I mean, it could go both ways. Like it could go both.
That's kind of how I thought. It could go
both ways. But for me, I imagine it that way. It's like you get that 5,000, that's all you're gonna get.
But to me, like, the celebrity crush is crushing on bigger celebrities than me. So a kiss is nothing. If I were to like have sex with them, maybe that might be like
that's why you have to go that
personal
route.
Connection. But if we're talking about just a kiss,
okay,
it's nothing.
We're thinking too far ahead.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, Okay, so you can ask me.
I'm not gonna get either. So
you can ask me the last question if you want. My phone's dead.
Okay, we'll ask the last question because I think it's controversial, but I think we both know what it is.
No, I don't.
You know what it is.
Okay, we'll see.
Disneyland or Universal? And why?
Yeah, Universal.
Why?
I love filmmaking, and I love being in the world of, where movies are filmed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
7
obviously.
seconds. See, that was quick.
Yeah, we already know that.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
That was an easy one.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you for listening to our short artistry roulette today.
Yes, sir.
Probably wasn't as fun if we were to have a guest or whatever, but hey, it is what it is, guys.
We hope you guys got some insight.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay, so, we're going to go back in. This is definitely going to be a lot more shorter on this topic, is what is our dream camera setup? So for me, guys, for photography purposes, I would have to go with, a medium format camera. Just because medium format cameras have been used for, magazines like fashion and all those portraits. Like, those are what medium format cameras are used for. Like, with the mirrorless cameras that we use. I mean, yeah, social media, and of course, it can get, on magazines and all that. But it's like, medium formats, guys, you're like fucking with 100 megapixels and stuff like that. That's meant to be blown up, meant to be on billboards and stuff like that. So I would definitely say, like, my dream setup would be like a Fujifilm GFX 100S. That's a 102 megapixel camera right there. Like, I can only imagine what I would be able to shoot and possibly get onto billboards or whatever, and stuff like that. Now, when we talk about cinema cameras, of course, I mentioned this already. Cinema cameras are expensive, and there are tons of good budget cameras out there,
Right.
The one I've been looking at, and I've been looking at for a long time when it first came out, is a Red Raven.
That's a car.
It is, but I just recently checked this last night because I was so curious to see how much Red Ravens are going for now.
Yeah.
So when Red Ravens first came out, it was like a whole package deal. It was like $9,000 or $10,000, and that comes with the Sigma 18 to 35. Okay. So you get the screen and all that shit, right? But now the fact that there's so many new Reds coming out and everything like that, I have found that Red Ravens can range anywhere now from $3,000 to $5,000.
That's affordable.
That's affordable without, you know, a Sigma, but this comes with everything: the brain, the battery, the monitor, everything.
That's doable.
And and I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, looks like we might have to trade the Black Magic in, you know. So
you never know.
And yeah, like I said, the red, you know, the Red Raven, it's a red, you know. It's like it was one of those budget red that came out, and you know they got the red Komodos now and everything.
I guess it's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. I think Red Raven came out. This is when we're still living in Seattle. I want to say maybe 2014, 15, maybe somewhere around there, maybe less than that. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those cameras. It's been around out for a while now, and you know, new Reds are coming out, especially the Komodo. That's the newest budget camera, and so that's why I feel like it's taken over. Now the next one I would have to say is a Z Cam. A Z Cam is something I've been looking at, and they got, you know, the ES F6 6K version that's out, and it's around, I think, 4,000 or something like that. And I've looked up a lot of videos on that, amazing footage and stuff like that. Super small. I think it's a little bit smaller than what a Red would be. Yeah. But you know, it still has that cinema camera look, you know, that you would want and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, as far as photography and cinema cameras go, those would be my dream setups.
Yeah. For me, like, you know, something that's all in one and kind of more affordable, you know, it would be the Sony A1 for sure. Full frame, 50 megapixels, 240 refresh rate for the viewfinder. That's crazy. So you can actually see what is being viewed.
There's no lag.
Yeah, there's no lag, you know, what you're seeing for the subject. Yeah. So that would be crazy. You know, it also shoots video, 10-bit, 8K, stuff like that. But, like, if money wasn't an issue, I would definitely go with the Hasselblad H6D. You know, it has such of, like, a futuristic, like, ergonomic vibe to it. You know, it doesn't look like anything else, any other camera that's out there. And, you know, it shoots 100 megapixel medium format as well, and shoots 16-bit raw. That is crazy. And so
16-bit is a lot.
Yeah, so like definitely like that's something like, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, but that's just for photography. If I wanted something that's like a little bit of both, it would be the Sony A1. I think what's crazy is like the Hasselblad H6D has been out for so long now. I think it's been like over like 5 or 6 years now. So it definitely came down in price. I think when it first came out, it was like 10 grand or more, but now it's like pretty much almost the same price as the Sony A1, which is around like 6 to 7 grand. You know, that's still a lot. Yeah, of course. It's nowhere where I could afford right now, but you know, that's definitely like a dream setup for me.
And like I said, you know, it's fun hearing what everybody's dream setup is, because it can be still budget, or it can get more expensive. And obviously, a majority of us will aim for expensive, because that's the best. It's a dream. But you know, I still try to aim for, you know, something that's budget, because I still think, you know, like the Red Raven is still worth it getting today, and you know, it's a fucking red. Like, you know, like everybody wants to shoot with Reds and nowadays and stuff like that, but it's definitely not needed. You know, I've watched videos where they compare Blackmagic footage to Reds and to see what the difference is, and you know, there is a difference obviously, but it's like it's still a minimal difference.
Minimal.
It's very minimal. But yeah, guys, you know, I hope you enjoyed this episode. You know, get our take on, you know, what the cameras we've owned, maybe, you know, take some tips from that, like what camera you should actually get into when you first start out. Like, that was the goal of this episode, was to kind of show you what we started with and now to what we are using now, because a lot of people, they'll just go out and get the most expensive camera. I've been hit up multiple times on, what camera should I get? And I'll usually obviously say like A6300. It's an amazing camera. I will be honest, I haven't been up to date on a lot of the new photography cameras, but more up to date on cinema cameras. But majority of people hit me up wanting to know what kind of photo camera they should get or photography camera they should get. And I haven't been up to date on that just because, I've been so focused on filmmaking and all that, and, paying attention to more of the cinema cameras that are coming out. But yeah, like I said, hopefully this gives you guys some more insight on what route you can go, what cameras you guys can start out with and, progress. Like, you don't start out with fucking, $2,000-$3,000 cameras. Start out with something we started out with, because these are cameras we still use and are fucking amazing. And they're affordable now. Like, even though they're older, they're affordable.
Yeah, and you can find them used all the time now, because we bought them brand new.
Yeah.
But then now that so many years has passed, people are selling them used, and it's like perfect condition, and that just by us talking about them, that they're gonna last many years.
Facts.
More than what you would have thought. And I also hope that you guys take from this episode that, like, you don't have to always believe in the hype, the hype of the gimbals and stuff like that. You could definitely start with a Steadicam, which is cheaper than a gimbal, and also even do handheld, especially if your camera already has like IBS and stuff like that. You could definitely do a lot more, and you don't have to like fork up all this money just because like this is what it takes to be like a professional filmmaker.
Yeah, and like it really, filmmaking goes all the way back to story. The story you create. Like, it's not about the equipment, guys. Like, it's literally the story, the content that you're actually making with your camera. These equipments that we buy and stuff is to help us. It's to help us, make content. But it's not, if you don't have a good storyline or you don't have a good music video, of course, that's what we shoot more. You can use the best cameras and make, a shitty movie if it doesn't have a good storyline.
We see it all the time.
Yeah, and it always comes back to storylines or music videos and ideas and concepts. It doesn't matter what kind of camera you're using, make that storyline or make that concept of a music video better, and guarantee you more people will, they will, what's the word?
Will recognize you more for like the quality of work that you do. Yeah.
I guess the word I was trying to say, gravitate. There we go. They will gravitate towards you because they see that you're actually putting a lot of effort into the storyline and concept versus just utilizing an expensive piece of like equipment, So I would say that's my biggest tip. And, for us, we've utilized a lot of budget equipment, but have been able to create content that's amazing, and a lot of artists and stuff look out for, and, we've been good on it. So that's a biggest tip. Don't fork out too much money on expensive new equipment. Just always invest more time into the storyline, concepts, screenwriting, and all that, and you guys will be good.
Yeah, you guys will. And speaking about music videos, we're definitely going to dive into music videos and our process of how we came about and how we started and what to look for in our next episode. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe
button, guys, and you're gonna hear our specific process. And I'm assuming this is a majority of a lot of filmmakers and videographers. They go through the same process. Maybe some do it a little bit different, and I think we all work a different way. But yeah, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to hear about that. But guys, we appreciate you sticking around for this episode. It's definitely a long one.
Yes, sir.
Us just rambling on about our equipment, our equipment. But I hope it does help you guys out in the long run, because I feel like you do need a little bit of knowledge, especially if you're... A little bit
of guidance.
Yeah, a little bit of guidance if you guys are just starting out. So, hopefully it does help. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode and you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's Artistry Drop. If you're not following us on Instagram, you can find us at the Artistry Drop. And if you prefer just listening, you can stream all our episodes on all major podcast platforms. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.